Welcome to the Instant Gaming News channel. We're going to check out all the highlights of what's been going on in the gaming world this week, so let's get into it. Nintendo Switch Lite. So the Nintendo Switch Lite has been announced, and the console is just a smaller handheld version of the standard Switch. It comes in smaller, lighter, and most importantly £100 cheaper than the standard version, but the Lite is only a handheld version and it doesn't allow you to connect to your TV whatsoever. Now Nintendo has also removed the HD rumble, which for games like 1-2 Switch, for those moments where it feels like you're shaking a glass with ice cubes in, those features are fully removed and the Joy-Cons are going to be fully built in. But on a plus note, they do actually include an actual D-pad, unlike the Joy-Cons for the standard Switch. Now I'm curious to see how games like Just Dance are going to work with a Lite, since it hasn't actually been mentioned if additional controllers can be connected, but one thing that Nintendo has confirmed is that the actual D-pad, which is going to be featured on the Switch Lite, is not going to be coming to future Joy-Cons, which is really disappointing. But the Nintendo Switch Lite is due for release on November the 8th this year, and it's going to be coming in 3 colours, and there's going to be a Pokemon Special Edition. Final Fantasy VII. Will Final Fantasy VII Remake ever make a release on other consoles apart from the PS4? Yes, of course it will. Well, eventually. But the guys over at Xbox Germany didn't actually get the memo though, because they just tried to will an Xbox One release date into existence via a Facebook post. Now the post has recently been deleted, but at the moment every single piece of marketing material for the game states that it will release first on PS4, but they haven't actually mentioned any rival platforms, meaning that at launch a Microsoft system and PS4 same release date is near impossible. Now I love Final Fantasy and I really hope it does come to Xbox as well. As I say though, nothing has been fully confirmed about it. All that has officially been stated is that it will come to PS4 first. Amazon's free-to-play RPG. Now Amazon Game Studios has announced a collaborative effort with Lenu to bring a new free-to-play RPG game which is actually based on the Lord of the Rings series to both PC and console at some point in the future. Now there have been hints about the forthcoming game during Lenu's September 2018 business announcement, where a subsidiary publishing arm, Athlon Games, was revealed. Amazon is going to be working cooperatively with these guys in the development of the Lord of the Rings title. Now personally I've never been a Lord of the Rings fan, but I do love a good RPG, and if it's a free-to-play one, that's just even better. So I am actually really looking forward to checking this game out. The Blair Witch game. Now the Bloomer team is set to be releasing their upcoming game set in the universe created by the Blair Witch films next month, but there's still a lot to learn about the title. During a recent interview with Bloody Disgusting, a number of topics have been discussed revolving around the upcoming Blair Witch game, including the use of time loops. Now, as the reveal trailer suggested, Bloomer's team, the Blair Witch, will also feature time loops. However, not spoiling anything, it's not in the style of like the Groundhog Day loops, but more in a very sinister style. Now, it's also been noted during the interview that the Blair Witch game will feature combat, which is a first for the Bloomer team, as all the previous titles have been less aggressive, but the experience in this game, you are going to be able to fight back. Google Stadia. Now, one thing that players have been worried about with Stadia is if they're going to lose the games if publishers pull the games from the store, and finally we have an answer. Now, Google has reassured gamers that any titles purchased on the forthcoming streaming gaming platform will not be lost if the publisher decides to leave. Now, Stadia itself is a cloud-based gaming service where it's going to allow gamers to stream games via an internet connection instead of having to actually download them, which means that Google servers are going to be handling most of the processing power. Now, the firm has issued some information about the platform to help get rid of the fears that purchases could disappear if a game is pulled from the shelves. Now, once you purchase a game, you own the right to play it, Google explained. In the future, it is possible that games may no longer be available for new purchases, but all existing players will always be allowed to keep playing the game. Now, I understand the fear, obviously, because you're not downloading the game, People think that if it's just on the store and you get access to play it by purchasing it, that if it's removed from the store you won't be able to find it anymore to play it, but the fact that it will remain in your library is fantastic news. Cuphead. Now, Cuphead's beautiful, but it is such a difficult game, and the award-winning animation is getting a new cartoon series from Netflix. Now, developer studios MDHR announced the series The Cuphead Show on its Twitter account this morning. Now, the show is currently in development at Netflix and it's being handled by the company's in-house animation team. Now, according to the studio's tweet, the developer also suggested that fans will witness the wondrous Inkwell Isles as you have never seen them before in an original series inspired by the classic animation style of the 1930s. Now, the show's premise will be familiar to anyone that's actually played the Xbox game, which was praised for its incredible animation and development and its reputation for being so difficult. Apex Legends. Now, thankfully, EA is currently still working so hard on improving the title, and a new patch has been released to help improve Season 2. Now, this includes removing the indicator that you're actually being spectated in the game, making it easier to spot cheaters. Now, this is only a temporary change that no doubt will prove popular to Apex gamers. Other changes are aimed at making the game more stable and removing some instances where players get kicked from the game. Now, it is really nice to see that EA is constantly working on improving this title because it has got so much potential. Hopefully they keep at it, hopefully they don't give up on the game because it is so fun to play. Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is due for release on the Nintendo Switch, shows off a handful of Pokemon and 2 version exclusive characters, as well as a new move, which is called Gigantamaxing. Sounds strange. Now, the Dynamax ability of Pokemon Sword and Shield, a special move that when battling, which allows Pokemon to drastically increase in size. Now, the Gigantamax ability goes even further, creating a Colossus out of the normally pocket-sized Pokemon. Now, only certain Pokemon from certain species will be able to use the Gigantamax ability, and most of these Pokemon are only going to be able to be caught during max raid battles. Now, I'm so excited for this game, but there's so many changes that it's either going to be a hit or a miss. Now, when Pokemon Let's Go was released on the Switch, it was fantastic. Things was a little bit different, they switched things around and it was awesome. But there's so many changes in Sword and Shield and so many new things that are taking place that I am really worried, but at the same time I am really looking forward to playing it. Cyberpunk 2077. Now, all open world games get the same questions. How big's the map? How many buildings can be entered? What is there to do? With older games like GTA, I remember walking around the city to see most of the buildings with blacked out windows or looking like cardboard cutouts and near enough every single door locked. Now, with Cyberpunk, the questions are no different, and during a recent interview with Gaming Bolt, we kinda got some answers to some of the questions about the buildings that make up the Night City in Cyberpunk. Now, the city, of course, is not the only landmass, but also the buildings, and it's been stated that a number of them can be entered, but no specifics on how many, but content has been made for the buildings that can actually be entered. They've got different levels that you can traverse, and you can do this in different ways, and it adds a lot more space to the city, and I'm sure there's going to be tons of new stuff to do. But because it's been stated that only some of the buildings can be entered, I'm still picturing kind of walking around and seeing blacked out windows and tons of locked doors, which is a little bit disappointing. I'm still waiting for that big open world RPG game where every single building can be entered, and hopefully one day that'll come. Digimon Survive. Now, I will be honest, I don't know that much about Digimon. Growing up, I was all about Pokemon, and the two groups kind of split off from each other. But Digimon is due to have its 20th anniversary this year, and disappointingly, the franchise's next game is gonna miss out on that. At a Digimon panel at Anime Expo 2019, which went on this weekend, it was confirmed that Digimon Survive has actually been delayed until sometime in 2020. Now, the Digimon Survive game was announced last year, introducing a new protagonist who gets lost on a school camping trip with his pals and winds up in a strange new world full of monsters and danger. Now, the game is set to release on all platforms, and hopefully we don't get any more delays. Blue Protocol. Now, Blue Protocol is a new RPG which has only been confirmed for PC at the moment, and the game will feature a huge character creation system which includes a requisite boob slider. Exciting times. Though announced just last week, it's been revealed that the game is ready for closed alpha and it is stated to run from the 26th until the 28th of July, but sadly this is only available to players in Japan. Now the game's only been confirmed for PC so far, but I am really hoping that the game gets an announcement for consoles soon. I do love an RPG game, and one of the main reasons for it is the character creation. Certain games that you play online, you tend to walk around and half the people look the same, or they've got the same faces, the same hair, and the only thing that kind of changes is the clothes that they're wearing. I love it when you can fully customize the size of a character, the way that they look, the face shape, everything. And if this game comes to console, it will be amazing. League of Legends. Now, League of Legends mid-season interventional isn't your standard EA Sports tournament, as opposed to leagues like the Championship Series or the European Championship. The mid-season interventions is one of the game's 3 annual international competitions, pitting the best performers from regional teams from the spring season right against each other. Now, the mid-season interventional is to League of Legends esports what events like the UEFA Championship League is to football. Now, the hype of these competitions is huge, and it has actually led to League of Legends taking the #1 spot on Twitch yet again. Now, League of Legends is an awesome game, and it's one that you do need to put quite a bit of time into, but it is so fun to play that anyone that hasn't seen it, hasn't played it, needs to give it a go. But that's pretty much it for this week, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, a like would be awesome. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.